What is up, my kings and queens? It is Andrew Velasquez with another episode of Mindful Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to introduce to you our latest guest for season two, you guys. We made it. Oh my God, it's been such a crazy experience, but I'm loving every part of it. All right, so here we are, your one-stop shop things for all mindfulness, creativity. I wanted to ask you a favor. If you could go ahead into your ratings, your reviews, give us those stars. That way others like yourselves can most likely see this in their upcoming algorithms. Share with a friend. And that song you just heard me quote a song you could download wherever you stream your favorite music. All right, so today, you guys, I have the amazing talented superstar Jordan Liberty, you guys. Jordan Liberty is one of the most sought after makeup educators in the industry today, having completed over 70 events in masterclasses in 25 countries on 5 continents, from shorter demonstrations to keynotes, full notes, full workshops, and courses that last several days. His curriculum is unique, practical, and encourages engagement from all attendees. Liberty's full day classes are the first to feature the live photo shoots demonstrations, the relationship between makeup and light, backed up by some of the top beauty brands in the industry. His classes cater to aspiring and seasoned professionals, but any beauty lover is welcome to join and will feel comfortable with the material. Tour dates will be announced soon on Jordan's social media and accounts and on his website, jordanliberty.com. You guys, welcome, welcome. Jordan, how you doing? You look
We not dead.
amazing.
We
No,
made
I
it through the
know.
pandemic. Honestly, like the fact that it's even 2024 is just mind-boggling to me.
The world is open. It's back up. And how do you
Yeah.
feel? How does that hear listening to your bio and like all the hard work that you've done and the inspiring efforts? Your portfolio is amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Yeah, it's exciting to go back on the road.
Yeah.
I really have not been doing much the last few years. I think I've done maybe two per year. And
Yeah.
we're pre-recording this, but by the time this comes out, I'm hoping that we can be
Yes.
announcing the first six for this year, which is pretty wild for me. So
That's the
it's
plan.
like once I made one announcement that we were doing Rome in March, it was like my inbox was like full. So I love that.
Love
And,
it.
it'll be a nice shift because I spent most of the pandemic, and a lot of people don't know this, that I'm a creative director. So I've been doing a lot of
Yeah.
behind the scenes work, sort of revamping other companies and doing some
Cool.
marketing consulting and stuff. So it's a little bit more fun to be on the road and be teaching.
Yeah.
And it's really what I love. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like where you thrive. That's where you shine. And I feel that's where you really make that connection with your fan base, as they're seeing you in person, working your magic with your hands, and then you'll be able to have that connection with them and meet them and then inspire them in their classes as well. But let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. What is the origins? Where are you from, Jordan? How was little baby Jordan Liberty growing
Oh
up?
my
Tell me.
God, little baby Jordan. So
Yeah.
I was born and raised in the Midwest, but I like to say I was a hostage. And yeah, grew up in Ohio, but I had parents that were
Nice.
separated, and so I spent half the year living in Florida because that's where my dad was for a while, and then
Okay.
Virginia, so like Richmond and DC area, and then eventually Philadelphia, and that was really what brought me to the East Coast after high school.
Yeah.
I grew up doing fine art, photography,
Okay.
3D modeling by the time I was in middle school. Music production. I danced for 13 years, but I was really known as like a fine artist. So I would enter
Yeah.
like adult art shows and like win in like sixth grade. And
So cool.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I started to take a very strong interest in portraiture and eventually fashion, and thought I wanted to go to school for that. And started my college journey, and eventually I was on set and the makeup artist wasn't there, and I filled in, and before I knew it I was doing
Dang,
like
that was
fashion
it.
week. Yeah. Yeah. So
Incredible.
I spent about 15 years in New York and Philadelphia, and then I came out to LA. So and I think that's when
Love
things
it.
really blew up for me, was out here. Not so much the YouTube days,
Okay.
but really when I came out here and I started getting over my fear of public speaking and getting on stage, which was that required a lot of alcohol.
Yeah. No, so that's why I wanted to create the safe space for other creatives like ourselves and you, like you, to kind of break out of those inner saboteurs, those little voices that we often have. And I still have them to this
Mhm,
day, right?
mhm.
But how did you overcome that first masterclass, and did you have a mentor, or was that like you just the opportunity that came at the
Oh
right
man.
time?
I'm just a very anxious person in general. Like I just have a lot of
Yeah,
anxiety. So I think it's actually played in really well into my career because it's made me very meticulous because anxious people tend to be very detail oriented in advance because it
true.
removes any possibility of the
Hmm.
uncertain.
Hmm.
And I think that's really helped inform my career in a lot of ways. But I had a really bad experience in the fourth grade where I froze up in front of the entire school, and so at that point, I was like, I'm never going on stage for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I had done my second cover, maybe it was no, I think it was the second cover of Makeup Artist magazine, and Bionic Beauty, this cover that I shot that I was madly in love
I
with at the
remember that
time
one. Yeah.
with the
That one
mask.
was
Yeah,
so dope. Yes.
that model's like famous now. It's so crazy that like I worked with these two models in a row and both of them are absolute superstars and they were both like 14 or 15 at the time. But yeah, I loved that story and it was something I'd wanted to do for a while. And Michael Key from IMATS
Yeah.
called and was like, "Hey, would you want to do like a keynote or a
Mm.
demonstration?" I don't even remember if it was a keynote at IMATS New York.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Hung up the phone, completely had a panic attack,
Oh my
absolute
God.
meltdown. I was like, well, now I have to do this. And just the idea of being in front of people for an hour freaked me out so much. And I remember I didn't sleep for like 3 weeks beforehand. And I had a strategy for it though. Again, just like trying to like kind of preemptively fight anything that could possibly go wrong, like
Yeah.
anticipatory anxiety. And I first of all had a colleague come up on stage with me
Okay.
to possibly ask questions in case I had what I like what
Smart.
they call Walt Disney moment where you just freeze, which is my biggest fear still is just freezing and blanking. And that's what I tend to do when I get very
Mm.
nervous is I'll
Yeah.
entirely blank. And so I wore a pair of sparkly Gucci high tops because I thought,
Word.
okay, worst case, if I forget what I'm talking about, I can just draw attention to the shoes. I had a
And
friend
you were
on
comfortable.
stage, and yes, and they were gorgeous. And then what was the last thing? Oh, and then I drank a lot of champagne before I went up there because I thought, okay, if I'm a little drunk, I'll be like a little bit loosey goosey. So if anybody saw that performance, I was about 3 glasses of champagne in, and
So that's a
really didn't
secret.
eat a lot that day. Yeah, but it was like
Oh,
once I made it through the first demo, like I did forget what I was talking about almost immediately. And I was like, you guys, I forgot what I was talking about, but don't you love my shoes? And everyone laughed. And I think it was
hey.
once that happened, it was like the fear was just gone. Like I think after
Yeah.
that, I did IMATS Toronto 3 months later, and I remember talking to the same people that saw me a nervous wreck in New York, and they're like, "Are you nervous?" I said, "I'm nervous that I'm not nervous. Like I was fine." So it's
Yeah.
just very weird how like very few times since have I ever felt nervous, and I think the only times I have is when I felt very unprepared.
Incredible. No, I love that. I mean, you're bringing back the human experience and the connection to your
Yeah.
audience, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm gonna fuck up a little bit. Let me put you on this ride with
Yeah.
me. And at that point, they're gonna relate to you more because you're real. It's you're being your authentic, true self, and you're taking what you love, your passion, and knowing and trusting that the process is gonna like fulfill and help others and inspire them, which you did. Bravo, congratulations. And then,
Well, it's that humanity though that you're talking about that I think has allowed
mhm,
me to. I'll be coming back to hopefully I can say Ecuador for the fourth time,
dang,
third
yeah,
time.
Ecuador.
Which is I love Ecuador. It's actually tattooed on
Yeah,
my body. My favorite place in the
nice.
world is the Galapagos. But I think I get asked to come back because I do like to relate to the audience a bit more, and I do like to have that human interaction. And if I forget what I'm
Hmm.
talking about, I'm like, all right, this is a test. What was I just talking about? And see who remembers. Like I like
It's
those kind of
interactive,
moments,
yeah.
but also like I don't like to come out on stage. Like I think, and I don't want to shade any other artists, and everyone has their own style, but I don't subscribe to that whole like I'm the most important person in the room because I'm on stage, and how great am I? And let's just talk about like my amazingness. Like I like to come out and be practical and be real and be humble. And I always say, I even said this in Venezuela in November, like I'm here with probably the best talent in the country. Like every single one of
Yeah.
you in here can do what I'm doing right now. I'm going to explain how I got to where I'm at here and the way that I like to do things, but I absolutely don't have all of the right answers. And I think, just having that moment with them where it's like we're kind of on the same level. Like I don't
Yeah.
even get I'm very uncomfortable if the stage is too high. Like I've been called a
Right.
diva before because I don't like a stage that's too high because I'm like then it feels like I'm talking down and they're less likely to interact. And that's just human
Ah,
psychology, right? It's like
yeah.
when you're dealing with kids, you're supposed to
I
get at
love
their
that.
level, because when you stand over people, it puts you above them physically, but also it
Yeah.
kind of can be intimidating. So, it's that sort of humanity that I really enjoy about the touring the most, is actually getting to see their amazing work and just kind of
Yeah.
sharing with them and learning from them as well.
That's so special. And I love that you almost want to be on the same level with them to make that eye contact. And I feel that for a viewer to be able to actually be able to see the technique and the connection that you have with the model as it's progressing throughout the class, I mean, they're going to be able to appreciate that more. And that, no wonder they keep coming back and keep requesting you, is because it's that experience. Like, you made an impact in their lives. So they want to remember that, and they continue to remember that and want to experience it again. So good job with that. Growing up, who was your mentor? Did you have anybody that you looked up to, or any other artists that you kind of aspired? Like, what kind of I know that you were a portraiture artist and a fine. Is that your artwork in the back too? It's really
A little.
beautiful, by the way.
Oh no, it's not. This is from West Elm or CB2.
Okay, cool.
I don't keep a lot of my art in the house, I don't think.
You
It's
should. You
weird.
should.
It's weird. It makes me feel weird. It's funny. I've got some beautiful photographs over here that aren't mine. I keep mine in books. Like, I have all my
Okay.
books from the places that I've been. So I do all
That's
these
smart.
photos from,
Less
yeah, but
damage.
I keep them. Yeah, I keep them in these beautiful hardbound books. And, if anybody wants to peruse, then they can. But then I
Yeah.
can put them away because I'm way too hypercritical of myself,
Gotcha.
to
So were your
display it.
parents creative too, or did
Yeah.
you have any? They were awesome. What kind of
Yeah,
art did they do?
both my parents are fantastic artists. My father did really well with colored pencil, like very fully rendered, very
Nice.
beautifully layered colored pencil. My mother, amazing at portraits, actually, funny enough.
Very cool.
And so, it's weird. I had a very interesting, very strange, very inconsistent life. But the one thing that was always very I feel very fortunate about is that nobody ever talked me out of being an artist. Nobody ever tried
Yeah.
to steer me in a different
Nice.
direction. Even if
You
they
had the
didn't really know
support.
what to do with me, they encourage that. And I think, again, going back to just like that human part of like touring, I'm not the type of person that'll go on stage and be like, believe in yourself. That's useless advice. Or, being unique is what makes you special. I call it Disney advice. I'm like, yeah, it sounds great in spirit, but it's so generic. Like, I'm an
Right.
action plan kind of guy, and I think I've
Love
always been
that.
that way. And yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but once I did, it was like 0 to 100.
Yeah, that's so dope. Good job. I commend you with that. I wanted to ask, what kind of practice or routines do you have in place to nurture your creativity? Are you spiritual in any way, while running your business?
I am not a very spiritual person. But I do find a lot of peace and comfort in nature, and I think that
Yeah,
is in its own way a form of spirituality, I guess.
absolutely it is. Yeah.
I think for me, like, I believe in reincarnation because our
Hmm.
bodies die and then we end up in the soil and that energy gets transferred. So I do believe in a lot of things that have parallels in spirituality. But I think for me, like, if I'm feeling very uninspired, I like to get my shoes and my socks off and put my feet on the grass.
Be
Not in this
grounded.
neighborhood because too many people walk their dogs, but but
Right.
like, it's so great to be able to just go outside and actually
Yeah.
connect to the earth. And I mentioned earlier that my favorite place in the world is the Galapagos, and I have a lot of friends kind of didn't understand at first, and like, why would you like
I'm
it there? It's a
obsessed with
bunch
those
of
islands too.
rocks and
I've
animals,
never
and
been.
oh my god, you have to
I'm
go. It is.
fascinated.
I've been twice. I've been twice.
Ugh,
My entire right leg is tattooed with a scene
so
from
lucky.
the
I want to go
Galapagos,
there and to
and
Madagascar. Sorry to interrupt you.
oh no, I get that. I mean, there's a lot more things that can kill you in Madagascar.
Totally.
Galapagos is incredibly safe, but what I love about it there is I always feel like I'm at home. And I even,
Yeah,
like, at one point I was like, "Can I move here?" And they're like, "Not unless you're born and raised in the Galapagos or you marry
correct.
somebody in the Galapagos."
Correct.
So yeah, and the dating apps were not exactly firing in
Yeah, yeah.
in the Galapagos
Wait,
Islands.
are you an Earth sign?
I am, yes.
When's
I'm a
your birthday?
Taurus, April
Okay,
27th.
cool. Nice.
Yeah,
I'm an Earth sign too.
yeah,
So, and
yeah.
I feel that Earth signs are typically drawn to Mother Nature in general, just
You
because
just had a birthday. You said, right,
uh-huh.
Capricorn?
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
grounds us.
All
So
right.
Mother Nature
Yeah.
is always like very comforting for all Earth
Yeah.
signs in general, from what I experience. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And yet now I'm really gonna go to Galapagos because, like, I've just been obsessed with those islands for a long time.
Do it by
Um,
boat. Do it by boat.
okay. I'll
Yeah,
put that in my notes for
because you
sure.
want to be able to hop the islands. The first time I just stayed in a hotel and then did excursions from the hotel.
Right.
But the second time when I was on the catamaran, we really get to bounce around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
I
was
want to
really
be like
cool.
immersed in all of it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Can you share any tips or advice for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to incorporate more creativity into their work?
What do you mean? Like trying to like find inspiration for
Sure,
like a
sure.
business that they're trying to build, or just trying to like reinvigorate?
Just because we have so many different types of creatives that listen. Some of them are makeup artists, some of them are hairstylists, some of them are
Mhm.
photographers, models. I think just anybody creative in general that is an entrepreneur that is wanting to find creativity. Like, how do you find your inspiration and creativity?
Yeah, so well, I'm like on apps, I like save everything. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm an admin, like hit the save, and then I have albums for everything.
Yeah.
Photography inspiration, makeup
Love that.
inspiration, hair inspiration, and then if I'm feeling like I have a shoot coming up, I don't know what to do. Like I'll scroll through that album because
Cool.
I used to just screenshot it, and then I had
Hmm.
128,000 screenshots on my phone, and I'm never going to go through that. But if I keep
Right.
albums that are like more organized, like it takes an extra second when you're hitting that save button because you got to like
Smart.
click it an extra time, but it's worth it. And the other thing that I've been challenging myself is not to do the same thing twice.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling uninspired, or I feel like my work's getting stagnant, I'll try something new. Like I haven't done Halloween in a while, and this year I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going to do Halloween." And
Yes.
I was like, "I've never done a mermaid, I've never done an alien." So I was like trying to do things that I had never done before,
Very cool.
and it ended up being like some of my absolute favorite work of the year for
Dope. So
sure.
like challenging
Yeah.
yourself and just making sure that you're reinventing your craft, your portfolio with that.
Yeah, but with like a focus in mind. Like for me, I'm like
Hmm.
I know that this is the direction I want to go in, and I want to create more work that feels original but still familiar for like Halloween. Like I don't like to recreate. Like I think one of the years we had to do a Harley Quinn look, but the brand called it what, like comic misfit so that they didn't get sued, and and it was like an exact replica of Harley Quinn, and like that's not the stuff I like to do because I'm like then I'm not really being creative because I'm copying
Yeah.
somebody else. And so that was what was fun about thinking about how I wanted to take on a mermaid or an alien, but choosing a more generic topic and then
Yeah.
finding my own avenue into it. So something that feels familiar and recognizable, but in a new direction. I think the first time I did that was my Diamond Sugar Skull in 2014, and now
Cool.
you can't escape them. It became a massive trend, but it was like
Yeah.
the first time I created that I was like, what hasn't been done? I remember Googling every combination of like Diamond La Katrina, Crystal La Katrina, you know what I mean? Like trying
And
to
you
see
didn't
if
see
someone
it.
had done it before. Yeah. And
Right.
I was like, all right, well, because I'm not seeing it, I want to do it. And that was it
Yeah.
with this alien. I wanted to create something that again, I that you recognize what it is, but it's
Yeah.
something new.
So dope. Just giving it that Jordan Liberty like flair. That's so cool. All right. This leads me into how do you measure success in both your creative entrepreneur pursuits and do they ever overlap?
That's changed a lot for me. I think,
Okay.
going through chemotherapy changed a lot been a lot of that. I think
Yeah.
the pandemic changed a lot of it. And,
Yeah.
I've just had some very interesting experiences. I was held hostage in a country. It's been a whole thing. But
Yeah.
I think, success for me is now measured in the relationships that I build. I don't really think of success in a way where I really look at outside validation. Even like with the work that I create, like if I'm proud of it or I enjoy it or
That's all that
it
matters.
or maybe it helped inspire somebody else to do their best work, then I think that's probably the best kind of success I can hope for.
Yeah.
I think when I started to get out of my head that I don't need to be the next Kevin Aquan or whoever people look up to, Pat McGrath. I can be the first Jordan Liberty. I can be the first
Yeah.
of me, and started to get out of my head that like I don't need to impress other people as long as I'm impressing myself. And I
Yeah.
think that's the first advice I give is like try not to compare yourself to others and look at success through the lens of society. And one of the best things about therapy is you learn how a lot of things that are considered cultural norms are actually
Yeah.
really toxic and unhealthy, including how we
100%.
view success and
Yeah.
fame and money and all those things that
Mhm.
we associate with you know with having a successful life. And I think I've been fortunate enough to go through those terrible experiences. Not that I'd want to repeat them, but
Yeah.
I think fortunate in that it helped me to sort of see and recognize what's most important about the work that I do.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that about therapy because I'm a huge advocate of therapy. I've been going to therapy since I was the age of 15. So it's
I love
practically
it.
been my whole
I
life.
love
It's the
it.
best, right? Yeah, it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not fun at first when you're diving deep and going back, but you talked about not wanting to impress others or doing the work for really for yourself. And I often think of little 10-year-old myself. You know what I mean? That little
Mhm.
10-year-old boy that was once just innocent and just still like excited about so many different things. Not that I'm not, but I want to impress that little kid. Like, so I think about
Mhm.
that little 10-year-old Andrew and I want to give him a hug and
That's such a
you know what I
therapy way to
mean?
think. Inner
Yeah, it
child
is.
work.
It can be
I
heavy. It
love
can be,
it.
and because
It is.
those ages can be traumatic, you know, especially as
Mhm.
a member of the LGBTQ community and just not being completely out at that age, at that obviously. But yeah, I think about him and I think about wanting to just like hold him and just make him proud, you know? So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing all those vulnerable moments. And I'm proud and happy that you have survived and you're healthy and you're doing well and you're not held hostage anymore and you're free and can just spread your story and your energy and your craft that, you know, inspires so many others. So thank
But I'm gonna write a book someday. It's gonna be a page turner. I'm gonna tell you.
Hey, if you need help, I got you. I got one right there.
I
So
do. It's so funny. I had a book agent in 2019,
yeah.
pre-pandemic, and we had
Hmm.
planned to do this whole. It really revolved around the 2020 tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
36 cities. Woo! I made it to three. But yeah, 2020 was there was a lot. There was actually a documentary that was being filmed that year and everything. I mean, that was going to be the year where I really told the story. But you know, they say everything happens for a reason. I don't know if I always
Yeah.
believe that. You know, I do to some extent feel like life is chaos and it's unpredictable. But
Yeah.
you know, now that we've been through the pandemic and now that my thinking has shifted so much just since then,
Yeah.
so maybe it just wasn't the right time, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, and that's part of the journey, right? I think as creative people and just the human experience in general is the Jordan that was at that point was maybe not going to be well prepared for the tour that is happening this year. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I think all those experiences might shape you, and each scenario prepares you for the next one to level you up.
I'm honestly so excited about it though. I just, you know, this is a weird month because we were supposed to announce everything last month. So, you know, I'm actually really excited. This is the first time I've been excited in a while about anything. So
I'm so happy for you. What is the tour called?
it doesn't really have a name. Usually I just do it by year, you know,
Hmm.
or season. In this case, we're technically calling it spring, although one of the dates is in July, which
Hmm.
we might not be announcing. I'm hoping that it'll be six. If it's anything less than six, I'm going to be a little disappointed, but it could be five or four. But ideally, six would be amazing. And one of them is a cruise, which I've never done. Like I don't
So,
even. Well, at first they said it's going to be a cruise, and I thought, okay, it's like a
hmm.
dinner cruise. You know, it's like around a harbor. You know, and then they gave me the name of the boat, and I was like, oh no, this goes to like the whole Western Mediterranean. It goes to three countries. It's a week
So
long.
cool.
It's a 4,000 person cruise ship with a casino. I was like, oh my god. So of course I was like, absolutely yes, I'll come. You know, like here's my
Yeah,
arm,
yeah.
twist it. But so that'll be a new experience. So I'm excited that this year I'm getting to do not only some new places, but also like I've never done a 2 day hands-on masterclass on the other hemisphere, right?
Sure.
You know, and this will be my first one in Italy, and that's where I'm starting. So, and then I go right onto the
Yes.
boat, and yeah, and then I'll go right from, and you know, coordinating it is harder than I think people realize because
Right.
I'm working with different companies for every one.
Yeah.
So it's like herding squirrels. Everything I do, I have to explain six different times through six different translators because there's so many different
Correct.
languages. So organizing a tour as a makeup artist is a lot harder than people realize. It's not like a music tour where you have one manager and one company and it's just doling out those same instructions, you know, to the different venues, but you're planning it
Right.
overall. You know, with this, it's like, yeah, I'm chasing down the last two. Like, are we gonna be
Right.
able to make the announcement next week? You know, like
No,
so it's
you have to wear
crazy.
multiple hats. You're not only a creative director, you're a manager, you're operations, you're customer service, you're, you know what I mean, shipping and receiving for all the things
Mhm.
that need to be received as well. So, but I mean, if anybody can do it, it's you. So you got this, and I'm excited for you. It's going to be an awesome year. All right, you guys.
Terrific.
So season two, we have a new segment that I'm really excited about.
The library is open! Because reading is what? Fundamental.
There you have it, darling.
And it is called The Library is Open. So I want this area to be for the guests to share their favorite book and their top three reasons why. So go for it, Jordan. What is your favorite book at the moment and why?
Oh, well, it's not a new book, but I do go back to The Dressmaker. It's one of my all-time favorite
Yeah.
stories. I don't know why I love it so much. I They turned it into a movie starring Kate Winslet. It came out
Mm-hmm.
in 2016. It's on Amazon Prime, y'all. And it's one of my all-time favorite movies. And I'm gonna do a name drop moment right now, and I don't even care. I met Lisa Eldridge only a couple weeks ago here in LA,
Amazing.
and well, we've talked on social media a couple times, but she's not like I don't have her number in my phone, But I would say she's a champion. When I sent her my palette, she put it on her story, and it's just
So
she's an
cool.
artist, and I really appreciate that about her. And it's one of the reasons I admire her so much is she's very giving to other artists. But I got to meet her, and I had I had like a moment with her where I was like, I don't remember what I said, but I think we were talking about Kate Winslet, and I said, oh, and she's the star of one of my favorite movies based on one of my favorite books. And she goes, well, which one? And she goes, all right, I got The Dressmaker. And she's like, I can't believe you even know that movie. And then what I really loved in that moment was she shared with me that every time she's with Kate, she's like, she brings up that movie and how much she enjoyed making it. And that for me made me love it even more
Mm,
because her performance is so good in it. And she really brought that character to life off of
it
the,
was
I mean, it's
beautiful.
literally a direct, copy of the text.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many changes. And I always appreciate that because I don't know if you read The Devil Wears Prada, but the movie's so much
Right.
better,
Always,
you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
not
not
always,
always.
but
I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say, but
Those two are
in
the
that case,
exception. You're
yeah,
right.
definitely better. Yeah,
Yeah,
like Memoirs of a Geisha, I liked the movie, but I loved the book. But yeah, Devil Wears Prada is one of the few where the movie I think superseded. And The
very
Dressmaker, I
cool.
had already loved the book, and then once it was a movie, I think cinema is like
It
the
validated it.
I think it's the best form of storytelling because it combines music and
Mm-hmm.
performance and art and
Mm-hmm.
writing and all of these other
Yeah.
pieces and makeup and hair,
Yeah.
and I mean there's just it's such a great way to showcase talent, and then editing, which you don't get with a
Yeah.
stage performance. So I really tend to love the books that end up making successful films as well. Crazy Rich Asians trilogy, I can't wait for the sequel. um
That's a good one. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
get it too, because my favorite one is Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451. And
Why did I think
that's,
you were going to say
yeah,
that?
to have seen that like as a child, to have read it, and then to like
Denim
listen to the,
Dentrifice. Denim
yes, and then
Dentrifice,
see it in
right? Was that
person.
it?
Another one of his books, Martian Chronicles, which I'm obsessed with aliens too. Like and I know that you are as well. So yeah, anything that's like sci-fi fantasy is like that's kind of like my jam. So
I
thank
like
you for sharing
revenge
that.
stories. I love female
Mm,
heroines. I love a good revenge story. Um, Hence,
it's
Dressmaker, one of my favorite.
satisfying. It's satisfying.
I did that editorial based on Death Becomes Her, also a revenge story. Female
Nice.
leads, yeah. Promising Young Woman is one of my all-time favorite movies. I don't know if you've seen it. Add it to the list. It's iconic. It's a romantic comedy thriller.
So you
Can't
can
beat
get
that.
inspiration for your
Um,
work through film and cinema as well, or literature.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
that's so cool.
definitely. Did you ever see The Cell with Jennifer Lopez?
Oh, of course. Oh my God. That
Such
was
an inspiration for
legendary.
me. Oh my god,
Yeah.
Tron. My palette that came out Dark
Yes.
Room
Tron
was
is good too.
heavily embedded in Tron. I was very inspired by that. Even though the movie itself is okay, sometimes the visuals make up for it.
How about The
And
Fifth
I love
Element?
this. Oh come on, are you shitting
Yeah.
me? Yes.
Yeah. That was a good
Yeah.
one too. Yeah. I mean, I can keep
Chicken
going.
good. Dinos
Yes.
a las
That the
multipas.
hair, the makeup, and the
Yes.
alien performance. Oh my God. So good.
Yes, yes. And that
So
Chanel
cool.
mask that she puts on and it does her makeup.
Yeah. Oh, that's the future. It's around the corner. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Maybe it's
I
gonna say Jordan
it's
Liberty on it
I think it's
on
going to cause some
tour.
people blindness. I think it's a lawsuit waiting to happen, but I'm here
Well,
for it.
actually, now that I think of it, SNL's makeup artist team did that not so long ago for the scene of this. I think it's Swamp Girl. I forget which. Oh no, no, it was the Cleopatra Egyptian makeup, and they just did it in like a second where it was pressed, the camera turned, and then she came back and had this full like cat eye with
Oh wow.
smoky and stuff happening. I'm like, that's the future. It's just like a stamp. But You're so cool. This is fun. I'm so glad I got to
They
meet
make
you.
those
And like,
stickers. They make those
they do have
Jamaican
those
stickers.
stickers. Yeah.
I've never seen
This
one use that and enjoy it, but you
maybe at
know,
Coachella. Maybe at Coachella.
a lot of stuff
This
happens at Coachella that shouldn't.
Yeah, that is true. This leads me into another favorite part of my podcast, which is called wrapping up mindful artist rapid Q. So just wherever you are at the top of your head, answer
Oh shit.
this intuitively.
This feels like a therapy exercise.
It's fun. It's fun. It's very random though. So question number one, Jordan Liberty,
Uh-huh.
who is your hero and why?
Oh, Gianni Versace.
No.
He was
Yeah.
growing up one of the only like gay
It was so
celebrities,
instant too.
businessman that was,
Hmm.
oh God, I love him. My bathroom is all Versace themed. I have a picture of the Versace mansion. And I just, he created new ways of making fabrics. I mean, he really
Yeah.
revolutionized sort of modern fashion. And he was just somebody I thought like, I want to be like that someday. Like he was just out and
Yeah.
proud and successful and like respected. And yeah, he's
Did you go to
awesome.
his restaurant yet?
Yes, I've been to the
Yeah.
mansion. I stayed in the hotel in Dubai. Like I'm a little
Amazing.
bit crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Good answer. Good answer. Question number two, wrapping up my Florida's Rapid Cues. What is your favorite music album of all time?
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be one.
It can only be one album.
You're on a deserted island. You have a Discman with one CD.
Well, that's not fair because like current stuff is the stuff I'm really listening to, but then there's the timeless that I feel like will never get old.
Okay, I'll give you two
Oh
because
man.
you're special. How about Baby
Oh
Jordan's
God.
favorite and
Okay, Baby
Adult
Jordan's
Jordan?
favorite TLC, Crazy Sexy Cool, or Fan Mail, but I think
Hey,
probably Crazy
yes,
Sexy Cool is it's
that's a
just
good one.
such a vibe, you know, when you think of
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
90s, like that's the vibe.
From the first track
And
to the last track.
whole album, it's just
Mm-hmm.
incredible. Oh man. I don't know. All right. Well, okay, and I'm a big Sia fan.
Yeah,
So
she's great.
this is acting I really enjoy, but maybe A Thousand Forms of Fear.
Yeah. Good choice. Yeah, I knew you were gonna pick
Yeah, it's a
something
good one.
cool. Yeah. From beginning to end. You just gotta let it go. All right. Question number three, Jordan Liberty, wrapping up
Mhm.
Mindful Artist Rapid Cues. What is your favorite quote of all time?
Um, mm, oh, I have a few of those too. Okay. Um, People don't remember what you say, they remember how you make them feel. I remember that every
Yeah,
time I go on stage. That
that's
like it
deep.
doesn't matter if you say everything right or whatever. And I say this with my clients too, and to any of the professionals listening, like when you have a model in your chair, she's not going to remember everything you say, but she's going to remember how you made her feel at the end.
Yeah.
And so like this in makeup, our clients first thing they do when they sit down is insult themselves. Oh God, I hope you can do something with this,
Hmm.
bags under my
Hmm.
eyes, or oh, I got
Yeah.
this zit you're going to have to cover. I like to take that moment and change the narrative and say, well, what do you love about your face? Like what's your favorite
There you
feature?
go.
And oh, my eyes. Oh, well, you've got beautiful eyes. Have you ever thought about wearing like maybe like purple tones, or maybe a blue to go with your outfit? Like get them
Mhm.
engaged in the process in a more positive way. And if you can leave that positive impression with somebody else, that's what's going to last. It's not really
That's
all about
beautiful.
saying the right thing or always doing the right thing, but again, just if people want to be around you, they want to spend more time with you.
Good job. I love that. Thank you so
Cheesy.
much
It's
for sharing
cheesy,
that.
but I love it. I love
No,
it.
it's heartfelt and it's sincere because it is. And we do that to ourselves all the time. Like I know you can
Yeah.
relate, like before we, started hitting record, I'm like, oh, is the light okay? Is the background okay? So it's just reassuring and validating that human experience and making sure that they feel amazing as they're leaving. So thank you for sharing that. All right, so this is your time to plug all the things. Tell us what is happening. What make your announcement. Where can we see you? What can we do?
Well,
How can we
well,
follow
I don't
you?
know what's happening, but yeah, no, I'm excited to be back on tour this year. Italy, Brazil, Ecuador, Mexico, Poland for the first time. I'm looking to come back to America. All those dates are on my website, jordanliberty.com. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much else happening that people can see other than just a lot of work that's about to come out. I actually might be in New York here working soon. But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited about all of these amazing opportunities in front of me for 2024. This is probably the most promising year I've had in a while. I think we've all been through that sort of
Yeah.
moment. So I'm feeling more inspired than ever, and And I feel like I got my old self back. So if
I
anyone
feel
has
it.
been missing my work because I've not been posting as much, that will
Yeah.
certainly be changing soon. So
And that's okay too, to have like a little bit of a digital detox and take a step away to focus on your mental health and come back
mhm.
reinvented and refreshed. I'm actually doing that right now too. I'm on a 30-day reset energy cleanse that I would love to do the digital detox as well, but I'm relaunching season two, but it's part of I
I'm
can't do
like,
all of it. So you
we're
know what
doing
I'm
a really good
saying?
job of that right now.
Right, exactly. But I'm doing it another way. So it's just something that we got to do as creative people to like reset ourselves. So Jordan Liberty, you're a delight. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to know you and to have gotten to know you a little bit more and support your journey. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do this year and inspire the world and show your craft and your talent and just
Here's
keep
open.
that portfolio growing, right?
Yeah.
All right, you
Well,
guys.
thank you for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much for joining us. Jordan Liberty, go follow his website, go to his tour, sign up. I want to go on that cruise one. That one sounds so dope.
Hmm.
And that song you're about to hear, Mi Corazón, is written by myself, produced by Aaron McLennan. You can download Mi Corazón wherever you download your favorite music. And for this podcast, make sure that you rate us, review us, share it with somebody that you love, so it's most likely to come out in their algorithms. You guys go make an impact, and much love and light to you all. Till the next time, I'll see you. Bye, Jordan.
All right, bye.